My name is Ethan.
Writing it still feels strange.
It's like I'm reclaiming my life, but names change.
I chose the one that suits me best.
I was born in a small seaside town, which I now call Seaside.
My mother was strong, standing tall against my father's authority. My father had built his own world. At home, he ruled not with love, but with fear. My childhood was sky blue, the smell of the sea, playing with neighborhood kids. But around the age of 7, the tension at home settled in my heart. Arguments became as ordinary as the clinking of breakfast dishes. What I learned at home was not what was right, but when to stay silent. My father's pressure increased over the years.
Small things became major arguments. A bad grade, a friend visiting, clothing choices.
In our house, the phrase, "I give you money, and you embarrass me," was a life motto.
Money measured love.
The giver had the right, and you had to remain silent. When my father lost his job, our home's foundation shook. Anger mixed with alcohol, then words turned into violence. My mother chose a way out. I still remember 2 images from that day, her holding her suitcase and the silence that followed. I chose to stay by her side.
I couldn't leave her alone. There was a strong protective instinct in me, right or wrong, and I followed it. When she left, our family fractured.
One sibling left.
The other built a life in the city. I stayed with my mother.
At that time, the only reality I felt was the absence of a place I belonged.
Spiritually orphaned, a new world opened for me. Either I would stand on my own or slowly fade away. After my mother left, I moved into a friend's apartment.
The job he set me up with was night work as a waiter and bartender. When I got my first paycheck, I tasted freedom, spending my own money, not depending on anyone.
But waitressing wasn't enough. Rent, bills, and education expenses made adulthood feel like a complex accounting game.
Over time, things took a different turn. My friend circle introduced me to new relationships.
At first, it was called making ends meet. Later, it became a choice. That choice wasn't easy, but options were limited.
My path became building close relationships with some adults.
They sought what was missing in their lives.
In return, I got a source that could pay my rent and cover my credit cards. In short, I was working as a gigolo. I met clients at night, offered intimacy, and received money in return. The job was a delicate balance of shame and necessity.
But there were no other options.
I had to survive. By day, I was a student, by night a gigolo.
On one hand, I had dreams, business or engineering.
On the other, my body and labor kept me alive. The contradiction was deadly. Dependency and shame on one side, hope and learning on the other.
My work taught me about people and their roles. Some wanted me as a lover, some as a father figure, some just as a sexual object. At first, I accepted it all. I patched up their loneliness and disappointment, in return earning money.
But the most shocking part was the sudden shifts between aggression and kindness.
One night, as we left, violence erupted.
It reminded me of my job's dark reality. Human shadows, power dynamics, and the urge to dominate.
I felt trapped, beaten, silenced. But I got up again. There seemed to be no other choice. Luck changed when I got into university.
I was accepted at Newport University. The fear and joy of passing the exam are still vivid.
Business or engineering taught me a new language, order, patience, and the calm of calculations. Classes gave me a world to explore, a future to break my shell.
Carrying 2 lives, however, was exhausting. Night clients, daytime classes, projects, sleepless nights. One cannot maintain 2 identities for long. I knew I would have to make a choice eventually. Over the years, a few people entered my life in different ways.
Some were brief, stormy, and painful.
Others brought unexpected kindness.
One woman saw me as a protective father figure. At first, it felt good because she provided stability.
But when she married, there was no space for me in her new life. This became a repeated trauma. Promises of love, then rejection. A client would set a beautiful dinner, and the next morning hand me money teaching me the term, the price of love. No one ever said I love you sincerely. There was always an exchange.
Violence became an indescribable censorship in my life.
On the street, at work, at home.
Its forms varied, but the mark was the same, a piercing emptiness inside.
A client's anger isolated me. It created a powerless image in my friend's eyes. My father's years of authority at home repeated themselves outside in violence.
These scars made me feel unlovable.
Every echo of "who would take you like this" eroded my self-esteem.
I could have gone to a psychologist, but mostly I acted as if I could handle it myself.
Over time, I realized seeking help, crying, talking, those were acts of courage.
One day, I sat down and did the math. I knew I couldn't keep this job until 30. Uncertainty suffocated me. I asked myself, what happens after 30? Savings, investments, a house.
Theoretically possible, but my body and past marked me, limiting my freedom. I started saving, cutting some clients, turning others into long-term arrangements.
I worked harder at university. My diploma became a symbolic escape plan.
Perhaps society would finally offer me doors and a place. Every transformation is painful. Mine was too.
One morning, I woke up and decided I would build a safer, sustainable life.
Some people would leave.
Loneliness might increase, but I was taking insurance for my body and soul. During this process, I felt loneliness. That warm feeling of belonging didn't come easily. Yet a project award, a night in the lab, a teacher saying, "This is your place," gave me strength. Small victories accumulated. My savings grew.
Some clients left my life, others departed benevolently. Today, not everything is perfect, but I am in a safer place. I'm not on the verge of a diploma, but I am moving forward.
I am searching for love, true equality, someone I can cry with. I have fears, my past, society's judgment, my age, but I want to rebuild the life I dreamed of, the warmth missing from my childhood. I want someone to fill the father figure role not with ego or dominance, but with sharing, compassion, and care. Sometimes I look in the mirror and search for the old Ethan. That boy is now completely different, trying to fit into a body marked by wounds, mistakes, and resilience. As I write my story, what I want most is that in the days to come, I can look back and say, I'm glad I didn't give up.